Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
I tell you what we are seeing today is the Rhino Party in Colombia showing their true colors. They are showing their true colors today, ladies and gentlemen. And the fact that these people have been in office for as long as they have shows me something, that there are far too many people in South Carolina that just don't care about politics. They don't want to get involved. Well, here's the thing. If you don't get involved in politics, politics is going to get involved in you. And they do it every single day. So now we've got this fight for redistricting. Here we are. Please stop. All of you people in the mainstream media, everybody, all of you journalists, all of you the reporters, stop referring to us as a red state, please, because you're lying to your listenership, your viewership, and your readership. Please stop that. Now, the citizenry, we might be conservatives, but our state legislature is not. Today, Shane Massey of Edgefield, and let me tell you something, all you folks down there in Edgefield, all you guys that are members of the National Wild Turkey Federation, all you people down there, all of you peach shed owners, you guys need to get rid of that man. You need to get rid of him, but nobody's run against him. No, isn't that weird? For almost, 16 years now, we've had nobody run against Shane Massey? Is he that darn good? No, he's not. He's not good at all. This is what Shane Massey said today. He said that Donald Trump, well, first of all, he said that redistricting is a threat to our state sovereignty. It's a threat. It's a threat, ladies and gentlemen, to actually have our districts align with the Constitution and not violate the Constitution. Because we know that we know that Jim Clyburn's district was designed around racial lines, period. So then he said that Donald Trump, now, please understand, Shane Massey is one of the relics of the Nikki Haley wing of the Republican Party. He supported Nikki Haley, not a fan whatsoever of Donald Trump. This is what Shane Massey said. He said that Donald Trump is abusing his power and overreaching into South Carolina. Wow. First time I remember hearing anything from Donald Trump about South Carolina and redistricting was last night over on Truth Social. So I posted that clip this morning over on all of my social media accounts. Donald Trump is abusing his power. That's ridiculous. This thing's been brought up by Ralph Norman. The Freedom Caucus filed a bill just like this back in January. Let me tell you something. I have done more than Donald Trump about redistricting. That's no slam against Donald Trump, but I have said more about redistricting here in South Carolina than Donald Trump has. So why are they coming down on Donald Trump? Well, because it's all about Trump. Oh, Trump bad, Orange Man bad. So now we got Shane Massey. He's going to be a no. Chip Campson, so let me see. Shane Massey's got a 35 Freedom Index score. Let me just check on what old Chip's got. Chip Campson has a 32 Freedom Index score. And then we've got another one, Luke Rankin. Luke Rankin has a 22 Freedom Index score. I wouldn't call any of these people conservatives. because they're not. And it's pretty darn. And here's what gets me. Okay, well, we'll talk about that in just a second. But they're the ones, if this thing dies, and this is what it's looking like. Its life is hanging by a thread right now. Redistricting in South Carolina is hanging by a thread. I just talked to another senator, texted him a few minutes ago, and it's like, how's it looking? He's like, my gut tells me it's going to pass. I don't share that same enthusiasm as the senator I talked to. I don't share that enthusiasm right now. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's go to John in Spartanburg and talk to him. John, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
Yes, sir. Doing good. What's up, man?
I bet you I can tell you something about Mr. Massey you didn't know about.
Okay.
Him and Mr. Graham is really, really good buddies.
Really now?
And he's a cross dresser.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that. Come on now. You can't be making those allegations on my show, getting me in trouble. All right, well, there you go. No, I know nothing about that. That's the first time I've ever heard of anything like that. So, here's what really got me today. Ram Reddy decided to make some sort of a statement today about bringing South Carolina together. And who did he blame for the division? This chapped my rear end so bad. It was not good. Ram Reddy blamed the Freedom Caucus. He blamed the Freedom Caucus for the division in Columbia. That's unbelievable to me. Does Ram Reddy not even know the history of what's been going on with does Ram Reddy even know why the Freedom Caucus is basically banned from the Republican caucus? Does Ram Reddy know anything about that? I don't know. I don't know if you do. Might want to double check that, Ram Reddy. So I want you to listen to what Ram Reddy said. Hold on, let me get this all queued up here because this is really amazing. Here we go. Here's Ram Reddy. Is that where we? Yeah, this is where we're going. Here we go. Here's Ram Reddy. I think.
South Carolina Freedom Caucus. I'll tell you about this. Jordan Pace, who runs the Freedom Caucus, is a good friend of mine, and he and I work closely together on the judicial reform bill. I am opposed to separation. I am opposed to division. I was this close, I mean, literally 1 inch from bringing all these groups together as a citizen. I sat him down in my office and I said, this is what's going to happen if you guys keep separating like this. The Freedom Caucus will not talk to the main caucus. The main caucus, therefore, is going to now lean towards the Democrats to pass bills, and we're slowly going to become a blue state. You're going to hand this over and become a blue state. We cannot afford this separation. We need the leadership to bring all these caucuses together. We are one.
No, hell, we are not one. We are not. You've got actual conservatives in the state house, and then you've got the rhinos. Now, notice who Ram Reddy said went over to work for the Democrats, to work with the Democrats. The Republican caucus. They went over and they worked with it, but he blamed the Freedom Caucus for it. The Freedom Caucus, when the Freedom Caucus came about, the Republican caucus, they said, well, these people scare the hell out of us because they're actually conservatives and they're making a little headway. So we're going to make them sign a loyalty oath. We're going to make sure that they don't campaign against incumbents. We're going to make sure that they don't take pictures of the vote board so everybody will know how their legislator is voting. We're going to protect even the worst incumbent. We're going to protect them. Now, notice that the Republican caucus can campaign against a Freedom Caucus member that's an incumbent, but they don't allow anybody. So Rahm, you got your facts wrong, pal. You got your facts wrong. It is not the Freedom Caucus that's causing the division. It's the Republican caucus that's causing the division. Might have lost a few points there, buddy. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
You're locked into the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, it's still not too late to call. It's still not too late to email your state senators, especially the ones that are holding all of this up. Shane Massey, looks like Sean Bennett, Chip Campson, Luke Rankin, Tom Davis. You guys, here's what you need to do. If you are following me over on X, go to my page. All right. The top is when you click on there, you're going to see the show live. The second thing is going to be a guy from a repost that I put out from a guy named JB. He's got all of their numbers and their email addresses right there. Those are the people you need to be calling. Those are the senators that you need to be getting in touch with. Those are the ones. So go to my X page, find that second post on there that I reposted not long ago, and there's all the information you need. Let's go to Brenda. Brenda in Clinton. How you doing, Brenda?
I'm good, thanks, Charlie.
Yes, ma'am. What can I do for you?
Talk to you about your comment about Rom Reddy and his argument that it's the fault of the Freedom Caucus.
Yeah.
This is not surprising at all. If you've been watching him, even before he announced that he was going to be running for governor, he started going around with the likes of Pasco to events and then even meeting with Merle Smith. And there's a common denominator there, and that is his campaign person who is running the campaign for Pasco, works with Merle Smith in his campaign, and now is running his. So follow the money. It should be no surprise that he's going to turn around now and blame this whole mess on the Freedom Caucus, which ironically, the Freedom Caucus, as Adam Morgan said on your show last week or maybe even yesterday, maybe last week, the Freedom Caucus had a bill months ago about this.
In January.
They were ready to file this.
Yep.
And whose bill are they taking up now? Not to confuse people with Senator Luke Rankin,
right?
But there's a House Rep, Luke Rankin.
Yeah.
He has filed only one other bill in his 2-year term, but the House gave him this bill, and they picked his over the Freedom Caucus bill so that he could have possibly a feather in his cap. So this is all shenanigans coming from the Rhino establishment and the campaign people who work for all of them.
You know, here's the thing, though, Brenda. If you're going to run for governor and say South Carolina's got problems, there's only one group that you can point at and say they're the cause of that problem, and that's the Rhinos.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
they
it.
Are more of a problem than Democrats are.
Democrats. I mean, they're. I appreciate it, Brenda. They're inconsequential. Oh, did I say the Democrats were inconsequential? Wait a minute. Hold on, because that just reminded me of something. Shane Massey said, and I want to quote you on. I want to quote him on this. This is a quote from Shane Massey. South Carolina is stronger when we have a vibrant Democrat Party. Quote from Shane Massey. Somebody put up a billboard in Edgefield. Somebody put up a billboard in Edgefield. Shane Massey said, South Carolina is stronger when we have a vibrant Democrat Party. Oh, are we stronger? Are we stronger with abortion on demand up to, including, and after the moment of birth? Does that make us stronger, Shane Massey? How about unfettered immigration? How about open borders? How about sanctuary city policies? Does that make us stronger, Shane Massey? How about massive giveaways? How about, free things for everybody? Does that make us stronger, Shane Massey? How about higher taxes? Does that make us stronger, Shane Massey? I don't feel stronger with any of those things, but there we are. There we are. Now, also happening today in Columbia, there was a press conference with Drew McKissick. Let's take a listen.
Stunt. We're here today to talk about a serious constitutional issue. We're here to announce that the South Carolina Republican Party will be filing a federal lawsuit on constitutional grounds over the lack of ability to register by political party here in South Carolina. The First Amendment of our Constitution protects the freedom of association, and the U.S. Supreme Court in 1986 recognized the freedom of association also extends to political parties. South Carolina state law currently says that political parties have the right to define membership, and they also have the right to define who participates in their primaries. But current law gives us no way to exercise that right. So that right exists on paper, not in reality. Right now, the state forces us to associate with people who are not part of our party, and in some cases, people who actually oppose us. In other words, letting people who are not Republicans choose Republican nominees. It's like allowing Carolina or Clemson fans to choose which players the other team will put on the field. It doesn't make any sense in football, and it sure doesn't make any sense in politics. Our voters have been clear. We've asked this question 5 times on our primary ballot with an average of 84% support statewide. For years, we've passed multiple unanimous resolutions at the state level and the county level. We've even put it in our state party platform. We've tried to work with the legislature for over a decade to fix the problem, but nothing has changed.
Wait, hold on now. Are you telling me that you did all of that and nothing has changed? Well, then you got to ask yourself something, Drew McKissick. Why hadn't it changed? Why hadn't it changed? Would you like me to elucidate? Illuminate why nothing has changed? Because the South Carolina Republican Party keeps supporting the people that are keeping the primaries open. Let me say that again. The South Carolina GOP keeps supporting the same people that want to keep our primaries open. If you want to, you don't even have to go to court. Hey, you don't even have to go to court. Here's all you got to do. Stop supporting those people. How about that? How about you go find some people, and I know you can, go find some people that run against the Shane Masseys, to run against the Chip Campsons. Go find the people to run against the rhinos. I better start supporting people in the Freedom Caucus. No, you're going to do this. Oh, we're going to sue them. We're going to get out there and we're going to sue them. What's going to happen? Probably nothing. Think about it. So we'll see what happens. They ain't going to do anything. But again, if you want to stop what's going on, you need to stop the people that are causing the problem instead of supporting the people that are causing. Here's what the South Carolina, if I were chairman of the South Carolina GOP, here's what I would do. I would say, all right, I'm going to give you a score. It's going to be based on the Freedom Index score. It's going to be all of these indexes that people keep out there. And I'm going to tell you what, if you do not follow the South Carolina GOP platform, we will not support you in your next election. Plain and simple. If you violate the South Carolina GOP platform, expect yourself not to be supported in your next election because you're not the person we're looking for. That's what I would do. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Native Georgia bulldog who bites back at big government. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Tap and type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Somebody texted, did anybody ask the residents of northern Pickens County if we want to be in the 5th? I hope it does fail. Man, that is some small picture thinking there. Got to see the big picture. Got to see the benefits. I doubt 300 days out of the year you even care about who your representative is in Washington. Bet you don't. I bet it's more than that. It's been like 330 days out of the year that you even realize that you've got a representative. Small picture thinking is horrible. You got to think about what's good for the big picture, what's good for the future, right? Oh, it's just a little tear. It's just a little tear. That's not going to be. I'm not even going to worry about putting a stitch in that little tear. I'm not even going to. Then you got a big one. Take care of the little things. The big things will take care of themselves. Doesn't matter. You get the redistricting done. Get Jim Clyburn's butt out of there. Actually help the people in what is now the 6th Congressional District here in South Carolina. Actually help them live a better life than they have been living under Jim Clyburn. And ultimately help in the upcoming midterms as well to defeat the Democrats. Because I will guarantee you, people that say that, people say, nobody asked me if I want to be in the... No. Probably be the first one to complain about the Democrats. How are the Democrats able to do this? How? Well, you know why? Because you wanted to be in your district, and you hoped it failed. So that's going to be on you. Democrats have a really good chance, really, really good chance of taking over the House in the midterms. That means coming up January next year. Oh, boy, what are we going to have? We're going to have impeachment after impeachment. We're going to have investigation after investigation. We're going to have hearing after hearing. We're going to have committee after committee. Oh, it's going to be glorious for the Democrats. Because the Republicans just... Charlie almost said a dirty word. That was real close. Now, JJ saying, you give me $100, I'll hit the dump button for you. JJ blackmailing me here. Because the Republicans can't get their act together. They can't all pull in one. And I'm telling you, that's what, if you're going to admire anything about the Democrat Party, that's what they do. They pull together and they are all rowing in the same direction. In Virginia, they're looking at actually reducing the mandatory retirement age because they were so mad about what the Virginia Supreme Court did. They're actually looking at lowering the mandatory retirement age for Virginia Supreme Court justices to 54 or less, could be 53. That means the radical left in Virginia, they're going to appoint all of the new justices that are going to be confirmed by their radical left Senate. And remember, these are the people that always talk about democracy. These are the people that always talk about the rule of law. These are the people that always blah, 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 vomit. That's those people. But when they don't get their way, look at what they do. Look at what they do. So the Attorney General of the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, he sent a letter to the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, but he made a mistake and sent it to the wrong, literally to the wrong Supreme Court. He sent it to the Virginia Supreme Court instead of the U.S. Supreme Court. Anyway, there you go. Well, it was an historic event that happened in Alabama. the courts have decided, because Alabama actually had on their books that you had to have 2 minority districts in Alabama, minimum. That's the least you could have, 2. Had to at least have 2. Well, since Louisiana versus Callis, that's been ruled unconstitutional. Now they don't have to have any. And they're looking at redistricting. They're going to be able to get it done. You see, they're going to get it done. Where we can't. We can't get it done. Because of people like Shane Massey, Chip Campson, Luke Rankin, others, Sean Bennett, the guy that called you sheep. They can get it done. Now, it's not going to be done in time for their primaries. But here's what's going to happen. They've got a special election coming up in a few months. They're going to get this done by the special election, and then they will have it completely done by the midterms in November. I have it done sometime this summer for the midterms in November. They can get it done. Our Senate can't get it done. So this is a big, and this is the thing. I'm getting so tired of being jealous. Listen to this. Governor Kay Ivey will call several special elections for redrawn congressional and state Senate districts and at an undetermined time this summer. Ivey signed into law 2 redistricting special elections bills that happened on Friday that allow the state to use previously passed congressional district and state Senate maps in anticipation of the ruling that came out yesterday. So Kay Ivey's doing it. Now, you go back a couple of months, Kay Ivey was against redistricting. She didn't see any need for it. But now she's kind of seen the light. When will Henry McMaster do this? When will Henry McMaster? Gosh. Oh. You know what I'm thinking about doing? The day Henry McMaster leaves the governor's mansion, I'm thinking about going to Columbia. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to hold up a sign. I'm just going to stand there. I'm going to wave. Bye, Henry. Bye. I hope we have a good governor. I hope whomever we elect governor is a bulldog. I hope he will fight back against these people. I really do. And none of that. I hope he will use the bully pulpit to call them out. Because, see, they've been able to work under the shadow of darkness. That's the way they want to operate. That's why they don't like the Freedom Caucus so much. That's why they don't like them at all. Because the Freedom Caucus is exposed. That's why they don't like this show. That's why they don't like this radio station. Because we don't allow them to operate under the shadow of darkness. Have them in Columbia slurking around in the corners. No. As best we can, we call them out every single time. And we let you know what's going on. So, hopefully, we don't know. Waiting for an update to see exactly what's going to happen with redistricting. Please go to my X page. Look at the second post down. It's got all of these people's their phone numbers. It's got their email addresses. Take advantage of that. Let them know how you feel. Or if you want to just call any of your state representatives, state senators, text SCREP to 800-9050-989. That'll send you a link. You put in your address. It'll bring up all of your senators, and you're only looking for the ones in Columbia now. Your senators and your state representatives. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Tough on issues, sharp with facts. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
You know, I didn't realize this until recently. There are people out there that still believe that we're in the coronavirus pandemic. I'm not joking. They're out there. I saw a nurse. She posted a video over on X, I believe. It could have been on Libs of TikTok. They might have picked it up. But this nurse posted a picture of herself. And she's got one of those N95 masks on. She's on an airplane. N95 mask on, covering everything. And she said, I cannot believe people are on this flight without their mask when we're in the middle of two pandemics. Two pandemics there. Yeah, they actually believe that we're still in the coronavirus pandemic. So this one person over on X said, want to prevent another possible pandemic and continuing the one we're still in from hantavirus? Wear a respirator. This person has literally been wearing a mask since 2020. Good grief. That's unbelievable. That is crazy. This guy, T. Ryan Gregory, stop assuming we know everything about all viruses or that viruses can't change. Stop interviewing calm mongerers who are consistently wrong. Start employing the precautionary people. Liberals, this is your time. So now they're freaking out over hantavirus. And guess who's reared her ugly head? Dr. Deborah Birx, the scarf lady. Yeah, she stood there right along with Dr. Fauci. You remember Dr. Fauci? Well, you got to wear a mask, because if you don't wear a mask, you could be talking to someone and then they could, a little droplet could come out of their mouth, a little droplet, and then you're going to get coronavirus and you're going to die. So you might as well get vaccinated and wear a mask. You remember him, the great Dr. Dr. Birx and Dr. Fauci, they were the two people that lied not only to Donald Trump, but to the world about the efficacy of the jab. They told you, if you get the jab, the virus stops dead in its tracks. I remember Rachel Maddow talking about that. You get the jab, the virus stops. Well, it doesn't stop. You still get it, but you don't get it bad. Okay. Well, you get it bad, but at least you won't, go to the hospital. Oh, okay. Well, maybe you go to the hospital, but at least you won't die. Well, okay, you might die, but at least you won't suffer long-term effects from the vax. Okay, well, fine, you'll suffer long-term effects from the vax, but it just changed by the day. Now Dr. Birx wants everybody to get tested.
And I caution people, because when we say human-to-human transmission, we're talking about people who develop symptoms. But because we're not testing populations with RNAs, we don't really know whether there are subclinical cases. So there could be more human-to-human transmission than we actually see. It's never good to track viruses through symptoms. We should be tracking viruses through blood tests like PCR. We've learned that with COVID. Extraordinarily helpful. Many universities were able to open.
Now, remember, she was the woman that said if you died with COVID, you died of COVID. Even if you were in a motorcycle wreck and you died from your injuries in the motorcycle wreck, if you had COVID, then you died of COVID. So now They want to ramp all this up just in time for what? Oh, yeah, the midterms coming up. Yeah. Sounding familiar? Absolutely it is. All right, we'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk. Charlie. Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
Well, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. Let's go to the phones and talk to Tom in Pickens. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great, Charlie. How are you?
I'm good. What's up, man?
Hey, so I was listening to your soundbite there with Drew McKissick, and I guess kept shaking my head because throughout this year, probably starting back in January, we've had a number of bills in Columbia, starting with H3310. Then I think we went to the Mike Burns bill. I don't remember the number exactly. I think it was for 5317 or something like that. And where was he then? Where was he then?
Well, hold on, wait. To give Drew credit, he did, even before these bills came out, say that if they didn't come up and do something about closing the primaries, that he was going to file a lawsuit.
He did. Now,
He did.
I don't think this lawsuit's going to go anywhere.
Probably not.
But we'll see. But I guess the question is, he could have supported 3310, right?
Sure, yeah.
He could have pushed it out of committee.
Well, in fact, wait a minute, hold on, and I hate to interrupt you like this, but he had pre-filed a bill. He had a bill pre-filed even back before this legislative session started, and they didn't take it up. And I think that's what really made him mad and got the whole lawsuit going.
Yeah, I think that part of it was there was some other things in there with regards to having to have voted as in Republican primary, two primaries in a row. There was some other, I don't want to call it funny business, but
there were some
other
qualifiers.
pieces to that.
There were some qualifiers in it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but here's my thing, Tom. If you want things in South Carolina like closed primaries, you got to stop reelecting the people that want to keep them open.
Totally agree with you. I think your point is extremely well taken, and we do need to stop. And there are a number of people, coming up in the primaries, which are the elections, which actually I guess start 2 weeks from today, the early voting.
Right.
There are a number of new names out there who are much more Freedom Caucus minded individuals, but you're right. You have to stop re-electing those people over and over again, because that is the definition of. So
yeah, it's insanity. But unfortunately, it looks like the Senate, they're still safe for a little while. I appreciate it, Tom. Eddie in Greenville. Eddie, welcome. How are you?
Good afternoon, Charlie.
Yes,
and
sir.
I want to thank you for your opening monologue. Just fire. Keep
Thank
it
you.
up. I appreciate that. I wanted to call you and say, my representatives in Columbia, District 19, Patrick Haddon, Freedom Score 32, just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Jason Elliott shows up when he only wants a pay raise to vote. Those guys don't care about what I have to say. I can talk with them blue in the face. They don't care. They get down there in the establishment, get what they want out of the Columbia for their cliques, their clubs and things, and disappear. And Hendrick McMaster, he's our Joe Biden. He has a bunch of people that push him to do.
Oh, you're exactly right. He is our Joe Biden.
Hendrick McMaster is.
Yeah. Absolutely right.
So thank you for what you do, sir.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much. You said, just trying to look here. If I can find this. Trying to look and see what's going on with Haddon. I'll find it and get back to you on that. Let's go to Gene in Greenville. Gene, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Then you get the bell. All right, man. What's up?
Thanks. I want to mention something about Shane Massey that I don't hear. Perhaps it has been mentioned. He is a member of the Liberty Fellowship, which is the chapter of the globalist Aspen Institute. So if you've got a globalist world, you can't really be a conservative Republican. You're just,
yeah.
You know. And if people want to know more about these things, they need to read the United Patriots Alliance page, and also the Palmetto State Watch.
Yeah, definitely.
And I would say that they'll find out a lot more about these characters. But I would say this, and I'll get off. Christians can control this coming election, the primary and the election, if they'll get off their couches and vote en masse, and they can be the leadership in this and not say, well, what happens.
Do you know, does it, and I don't want to use the word anger, but does it upset you when Christians get out there and they say, you know, Christians shouldn't be involved in politics?
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree totally with what you're saying, what you say all the time, that politics is going to find you, and it'll find the church. All you have to do is see what the Democrats do with Christians.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're exactly right about that. I appreciate it, Gene. Thank you very, very much. You got to get out and do something. You got to. But again, getting back to the whole Drew McKissick thing, he's going to do this lawsuit. It should have never gotten to the point to where we needed to file a lawsuit to close our primaries. Should have never gotten to that point. And how good. Let's just go back and say, Charlie James, chairman of the South Carolina GOP. The moment that I start noticing patterns, and growing up the way that I grew up, I had to notice patterns. That was a survival skill that I had to have. You notice these patterns, and when you see that pattern forming, and it is not in alignment with the South Carolina GOP platform, you pick up the phone. Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, what's going on? Why'd you vote this way? Why'd you vote that way? What's going on with this and that and the other thing? Oh, okay. Well, listen, man, I hate to tell you this, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to support you in the next election. Yeah, just to let you know. Hey, no, it's nothing personal. No, I take it back. It is personal. You either get your act together or you're going to lose all the support from us. And they can do that. They can come out. They can make statements. They can censure. They can support people. It should have never gotten here. I will guarantee you, those people in Edgefield, and I hate to say this because, I mean, I love Edgefield. I grew up near there. But when most people are out there, they're busy living their lives. You know, you're going to school, you're going to work, you're trying to raise your family, you're making sure your taxes are paid. Got to get that oil change. You got things to do. And then all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, how did that happen? Well, that happened while you weren't looking. That's why we got to make sure we take the time to actually take a look at who these people are. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hitting truth bombs longer than he drives off the tee. It's the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Welcome back to the program. National Police Week started Sunday, May 10th. It goes through Saturday, May 16th. Peace Officer Memorial Day will be observed on May 15th. The upstate of South Carolina has another to remember. An upstate officer was killed last night while serving in the line of duty. Authorities said the incident happened around 4:56 when an officer from the Greenwood Police Department attempted to stop a blue Jeep connected to several previous shooting incidents. Investigators said the driver sped away from a traffic stop and crossed into oncoming traffic on East Cambridge Avenue while trying to evade law enforcement. During the chase, the Jeep struck 31-year-old Officer DJ Keller, who was assisting. Officer Keller was pronounced dead on the scene. Officer Keller began his career with the Greenwood Police Department in March of 2023, became a canine officer in 2025, served in the South Carolina National Guard and the United States Army from 2016 to 2020. He leaves behind his wife and 2-year-old daughter. Authorities say the 15-year-old driver and 2 passengers aged 17 and 18 were taken to a hospital for treatment. Their conditions have not been released. Governor Henry McMaster issued the following statement. South Carolina mourns the tragic loss of Greenwood Police Department officer Don DJ Keller, who was killed in the line of duty yesterday. Peggy and I asked South Carolinians to join us in praying for his loved ones and the Greenwood community. In honor of his sacrifice, I will order the flags above the State House to be lowered at half-staff on the day of his funeral. South Carolina Highway Patrol is continuing to investigate this incident. This is what these people do every day. When they wake up and they put on that badge and they go out into the community to protect you and to protect me. That is a sacrifice. It's not only a sacrifice that they make, it's a sacrifice that their families make. These police officers do not get enough credit. They do not get enough appreciation. They are maligned. They are talked bad about. There are even people out there who look at defunding them. For what? Making our communities safe? That's a special breed of person that says, I'm going to do the unselfless thing today, and I'm going to put my life on the line to protect others that some of them I don't even know. I'm going to protect families. I'm going to protect this community. And if need be, I will give my life to do it. That is truly a special breed of person that would do that. Someone killed a policeman today, and a part of America died. And a piece of our country which he swore to protect will be buried with him at his side. The beat that he walked was a battlefield too. just as though he had gone to war. Though flags will fly at half-mast, to his name they will add a gold star. The suspect who killed him will stand up in court with counsel demanding his rights, while a young widowed mother must work hard for her child and spend many long, lonely nights. Yes, someone killed a policeman today, maybe in your hometown or mine, while we slept in comfort behind our locked doors. A cop put his life on the line. And now his ghost walks the beat on a dark city street. And he stands by each rookie's side. He answered the call. Of himself gave his all. And part of America died.
Honest views, trusted news. This is the Charlie James Show
On News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, we got a little breaking news here. Redistricting has failed in South Carolina in the Senate because of people like Shane Massey, Chip Campson, Luke Rankin, and others. They would rather, this is the honest truth, they would rather fight the Freedom Caucus than stand up and fight the Democrats and fight Jim Clyburn. Unbelievable. Let's see, Alan Wilson posted this. Following the South Carolina Senate's decision not to take up congressional redistricting during Sign or Die, Attorney General Alan Wilson is calling out Republican lawmakers who ignored President Trump's call to act and pushing Governor McMaster to change his mind and call the legislature back for a special session. Now it's back up to him. So what can happen now? Okay, and let's see, how does this go? So now this goes back to the South Carolina House. I know it's complicated. All the House has to do, and I want to thank Adam Morgan for sending me this. The House, all they have to do is non-concur to Senate changes and refuse to pass a sign or die resolution. That's the resolution that calls them back for a special session. That would allow the governor to call a special session. At that special session, redistricting can pass by a simple majority instead of a 2/3 vote. But the governor said he will not call a special session. That might change. But even if Henry McMaster does not call a special session, remember this, the state budget, that still hasn't passed. So hypothetically, if the House doesn't pass a final version of the budget by 5 p.m. on Thursday, that's when they adjourn, then the governor has to call a special session. And the governor cannot limit what the legislature takes up in a special session. And they're saying redistricting will be on the table. Now, here's what it's going to take. It's going to have to take some guts from the Republicans in the House and the Senate. Are they going to defend the Constitution? And think about that. This is actually them. Are you going to defend the Constitution of the United States and the Supreme Court ruling in Louisiana versus Calais? Some people pronounce it Calais. I say Calais. Are you going to do that? Are you going to keep an obviously unconstitutional district in the 6th Congressional District here in South Carolina? Are you going to do that? They would rather side with the Democrats and protect Jim Clyburn than to actually stand up to our Constitution. Now it's time to call the governor. Now it's time to call. Tell him to pass. Tell him to call him, call a special session. Tell Henry McMaster, Henry Disaster, to call a special session, or this will be your legacy. This will be your legacy. The day that you stood up and you turned your back on the man, Donald John Trump, who is the only reason that your foghorn, leghorn ass was ever the governor of South Carolina. He was it. And you turned your back on him and you stabbed him right square in the... No, you didn't. You stabbed him right in the front. You looked him in the eye. Well, I support you. Oh, Donald Trump, I support you all the way. Here, let me just stab you right in the chest. That's what you did. You stabbed us in the back. You stabbed him in the front. So... man, I tell you, he's so glad when he's gone. Let's go to Jeff and Easley. Jeff, welcome.
Yeah, which eye you talking out of? Because you can't see which one he's looking out of.
McMaster?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Cross-eyed no, I'm not going to start cussing, but
Yeah.
all this me. I have an abscess tooth. I want you to listen to this crap. I'm in a position I don't have any insurance right now.
Yeah.
So Saturday, I used to pay $200 to get an X-ray. They want an extra $500 to extract it. So, I've tried to wait till this week. Somebody told me, free clinic. I called them. If you're not an illegal immigrant, apparently in this state, you can't get nothing done.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you're illegal, you can go up there and get all your bones.
Oh, yeah,
fixed.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a huge problem that we have in this state. You're exactly right, Jeff. Exactly right. Now, this texter got a point. Charlie, if Governor McMaster does not call a special election, Pamela Evette will be blamed. Yes. Now, Pamela Evette has come out. She put out something. Now, we're going to be, Joe and I are going to be talking with her on the 19th in our governor series. But if Pamela Evette, she's got to be calling this stuff out. She's got to be calling it out. It might be time for Pamela Evette to start breaking away from the whole Henry McMaster wagon that she's been hitched on. Because this has angered a lot of people. Charlie, time to check Shane Massey's bank accounts and assets. Oh, I'm pretty sure he's got plenty. He's got plenty. So, again, wildly disappointing. And let me just tell you, you are not represented in Columbia. Not by those people, not by the so-called Republican caucus. Drew McKissick should be just spitting mad right now. Because if they're going to do this, what else are they? Well, nothing. They're not going to. Let's go to George in Greenville while I get my thoughts together. George, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. Hey,
Yes,
listen, this stuff really ticks me off. And I tell you what, the person that's needs to be held accountable here is Lindsey Graham and his fake Republican colleagues that forced Donald Trump to endorse those senators. My family and I moved here from Colorado, and we know what it's like to have fake Republicans because they destroyed Colorado. And that's the exact same thing that's going to happen here in South Carolina. And Lindsey Graham is the one that's to blame for that because he put that list in front of Donald Trump for him to endorse those senators, and now they turned back on him too, and it's disgusting,
It really is, and it's a darn shame. And yeah, you're right. They do it to every state, and they're trying to do it here. And folks, I hate to tell you, they're succeeding because, like I said, people are too busy to get interested in what's going on. They just wonder what the heck happened. How did we get here? We got here because you didn't pay attention yesterday, or the week, or the month, or the year before. That's why it's so important to start paying attention now. Are people starting to finally get it? Gosh, I hope so. I really do. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I don't know if you guys are as disgusted as I am, but I am literally fit to be tied. I do not understand. I'll say it again. Stop, all you people in the mainstream media, you print journalists, you television anchors, you copywriters, stop referring to us as a red state. Stop it. We're not. We're not. We can't get good, common sense conservative legislation passed. We can't do it. They would rather, and they do this all the time, they just want to protect the Democrats for whatever reason. And you got to go back to what Shane Massey said. This is a quote from Shane Massey today on the Senate floor. South Carolina is stronger when we have a vibrant Democratic Party. How? How? What great ideas has the Democratic Party? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it was the Democrats that came up with the rest home, the home for artists to rest in. Maybe that was the Democrat plan. Does that make us better? Maybe it was the Democrats that came up with, the plan to, spend $3.3 million on an orangutan enclosure. Was that a Democrat plan? Does that make us stronger? Maybe it was them. Oh, it was definitely them that wanted to fund the lesbian podcast. Maybe the Gummy Bear Museum was their idea. Maybe the over $900,000 to start a podcast for the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's going to be, so many people are going to listen to that podcast. It's going to put Joe Rogan to shame. Maybe it's there. Are the members of the Republican caucus going to actually try to tell us that those were Democrat ideas? Because they weren't. They were your ideas. It was your idea to increase the budget. It was your idea. It was your idea when you had a $1.7 billion surplus from the taxpayers of South Carolina. It was your idea to raise the budget that exact amount. It was your idea. When money isn't spent on roads, it's your idea. When money isn't spent on crumbling bridges, it's your idea. That's your idea. I'm going to say this, and I mean it. It is time for them to be punished. It is time for them to be punished. We got to do it. Adam Morgan posted, vote killing South Carolina redistricting was 29-4 redistricting and 17 against. 29-4 and 17 against. So how did this happen? 29 senators supported redistricting, 17 were against it. How did that happen? Because Henry McMaster did not call a special session, forcing the legislature to call themselves back that requires 2/3 of a vote instead of a simple majority. 5 Rhino senators were able to kill it. Give Henry McMaster's office a call. I mean, right now would be a really good time. 803-734-2100. That's 803-734-2100. Be nice. Be respectful. But ask for him to call a special session. Call a special session. Get it back in. Do something. But see, I don't think he will. I still don't. But I still want you to call. Because in these waning days of his administration, I would love for him to get a cold chill up his spine when he hears the name Charlie James. That's what I would love to happen. I want him to just turn white as a sheet when he hears about WRD radio. This is pathetic. It really is. This is a simple thing. Tennessee was able to do it. Florida was able to do it. Texas was able to do it. Alabama's been able to do it. I mean, good gracious. Why are we so special that we can't get something like this done? 29 for 17 against. 29 senators voted for redistricting. And 5 rhinos were able to kill it. Unbelievable. When we get back, we'll talk with Congressman William Timmons, who was for redistricting. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
Well, Congressman William Timmons posted out, I hope the South Carolina State Senate does the right thing tomorrow. That was yesterday. Today, they did not do the right thing, and Congressman William Timmons joins us right now. It looks like redistricting has failed in the Senate, Congressman. Other than that, I hope you're doing well.
Charlie, good afternoon. It was disappointing. I do not think that the effort is over. Obviously, the White House is still pursuing it, and the governor still has the ability to call him back. And I don't think that we've heard the end of this effort, but there were definitely some interesting points made by a number of different senators. So we will see where this goes, but I don't think we've heard the end of it.
You know, it's what frustrates so many people is that we can see things like this happen in Alabama. We can see it happen in Tennessee. We can see it happen in Florida and a host of other states. But for some reason, it's always a problem here in South Carolina.
Well, the point that was made by the Senate Majority Leader was that we already have, as percentage-wise, we're 6-1, and so the other states are going 6-1, and Florida is actually going to be less Republican percentage-wise than South Carolina. Whether you like that or not, I don't know. But that was the argument that he made. I watched the arguments on both sides, and I think the White House is not done with this, and we will see where it goes. But this is definitely a setback for sure.
Well, if President Trump does make a comment about it, he's going to have to do it from Beijing. He is in China, on his way to China to meet with Xi Jinping. What are you expecting out of these negotiations? Because he took a lot of CEOs with him.
I mean, he really did. They probably had to take a couple of planes with him. But, I think it's good that he's taking all of these CEOs of massive American companies. And I think his request is going to be to normalize trade relations and for the Chinese to stop stealing intellectual property, to stop subsidizing their businesses, to stop cheating, to be equal partners in the global economy. It's something that the president has been very adamant about. And I think he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's coming to them and he's saying, we've got all these businesses. We can globalize trade fully, and we can not be anti-competitive, and let us compete. We'll compete, but you can't cheat. And that's what the president's been saying all along. The Chinese are cheating, and we can't allow that to happen long term.
And he's probably also going to be bringing up the situation in Iran. I'm just thinking the American people right now, they can understand the fight. They can't understand the diplomacy in a lot of cases. Do you think this has the ability to hurt the Republicans in the midterm?
I don't. I think that, the president he's the art of the deal. He's the author of the art of the deal. And so he's going to go and he's going to get the best deal. Obviously, the fact that China is either tacitly supporting or actually supporting Iran is not helpful. So we need to hold them accountable for that. Iran is the largest state sponsor of terrorism. They chant death to America, and they mean it. So we cannot let them have a nuclear weapon. We cannot let them have an intercontinental ballistic missile. We cannot give them these tools because they will use them. The Chinese are at least rational enough to not use nuclear weapons and not attack people like this. So we have to take that piece off the table, and China can be a part of solving this problem.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the president's going over there. He's going over there because he's going to say, we can be friends. We can be competitors. Let's not be adversaries. And I think he's going to make a strong pitch, and I'm hopeful it goes well.
I forget who it was that said in golf, they're my competitor, they're not my enemy. And I think that's a very good case to be made, right?
That's our goal.
Yeah.
We want to compete with everybody, but we don't want anybody to be enemies. And at this point, the global economy is so interconnected that any war of the great powers would have just devastating consequences. So we really are not in a position where we can have conflict with any of the great powers. And so we need to make sure that we are increasing the incentives away from potential actual conflict. And really, I mean, to a large extent, most of these armed conflicts going on right now are proxies. I mean, the entire West is supporting Ukraine against Russia, and the authoritarian governments are supporting Iran against the attempts for the U.S. to hold them accountable for their nuclear program. So we've got to make sure that we're being very intentional about this. And honestly, Secretary Rubio and Secretary Bessent are just incredibly talented at diplomacy, and the president is obviously the hammer on the conversation. And so he's going to go and he's going to let the diplomats do the talking, and then he's going to comment and he's going to say, I wasn't asking if you were going to do this. I told you why you should do it, and now you're going to do it.
There you go. Well, your SMART Act was actually on the floor today, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And honestly, we've had a bunch of bills pass committee recently, and this bill just passed the floor. What the SMART Act does is it's referred to as regulatory tailoring. So everybody knows when they go to a restaurant, that restaurant has an A rating for cleanliness. If it has a B, a C, or a D, you're like, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
But the way that they supervise and do oversight for all these restaurants is if you have an A, they don't go as often. They don't have to make sure that it's clean. They don't have to verify constantly that your kitchen's clean because it was so clean the last time. So they come every couple of months. And we need to use the same logic with our banking industry. So a lot of these small banks are just strangled. Small banks and credit unions are strangled by regulation. There's constant supervision. There's constant just a bunch of federal employees going through all their books. And we need to have supervision, but we don't need it to be constant. We don't need to be overbearing. We don't need to be difficult to comply with. And we need to incentivize people to do a good job. So all the SMART Act does is called regulatory tailoring. If you're doing a good job, you get a break on the supervision. And obviously, if something bad happens, it goes back to increased supervision. But it's a step forward, and honestly, it was unanimous. So
that's
that
nice.
was pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is Police Week, and we have lost one of our upstate own. Officer DJ Keller was killed last night when he was hit by a couple of young people that were trying to escape a crime scene. Officers, they put their lives on the line every day, don't they?
They do, and we need to respect them, and we need to honor them. And it's a very tragic loss, and not every American citizen goes to work, and their family has to wonder if they're coming home.
Yeah.
And our service members in the military do, and our men and women in blue do as well. And so we got to honor them, and we got to remember their sacrifice when they do pass away. And we got to hold people accountable to make sure that this happens as the least amount possible. It'll never not happen again, but we got to have consequences for people that do injure and tragically in the lives of our law enforcement officers, because that creates the deterrence of other people doing the same thing. So we got to honor his legacy by holding people accountable and making sure that there's consequences for their actions.
Absolutely, and keep those criminals off the street. Congressman William Timmons, always a pleasure, sir. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Be well.
Take care. So, yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. I mean, some stuff can be done. Some stuff can be done as far as redistricting is concerned. But listen, all of those arguments, that's BS. All of those arguments, oh, well, Florida this and Alabama that, and Tennessee took it all off the map. This was our state legislature, again, fighting to protect the Democrats. And I want to remind you, again, what Shane Massey said today. South Carolina is stronger when we have a vibrant Democratic Party. That was Shane Massey, your Senate Majority Leader. Unbelievable. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of non-stop breaking news and stimulating talk jumpstarts every hour on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Bob in Gaffney. How you doing, Bobo?
Hello, Charlie.
Yes, sir. What's up?
I was wanting your thoughts on the price of gas now.
Yeah.
I heard maybe a week or so ago, either on your station by one of the commentators, but or TV, that the gas companies are making record profits since the war started, and that we're independent from other countries on our barrels of oil.
We are not. We are not independent. That's the problem. We're not independent.
Oh, okay.
I mean, everything that we pump out of the United States. All right. This is really the irony of it all. The oil that we pump from the United States is not the oil that we use for our gas. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
We pump a light sweet crude here in North America, in the United States, but the oil that we need for our processing plants, that's a heavy crude. And that comes from other countries. Now, there's some countries that love the light sweet crude, and they use it, and they refine it, and they go about their business. But everything that we have is set up for importation from other countries. So everything that we pump actually goes into a global market. And the global market and the people that are trading the futures, they're the ones that set the price.
Yeah.
So, in effect, it's not really the oil companies. It's the people that are, it's the investors into the oil companies.
Okay. It's not the oil companies here in the United States.
Are they making a profit off of it? Yes, because the money's so high. But this is because the people they're buying up all the people that are trading the futures on oil. They're the ones that are driving the price up.
Okay.
You see? So it's a complicated process, Bob, and I appreciate you calling in. But and people say, well, why don't we just go off of that? Why don't we go off the oil market? We can't, because we got the petrodollar. Love it, hate it, indifferent about it. The petrodollar, and that means that anytime oil is purchased, anytime energy basically is purchased, you have to use American dollars. And if these companies, these countries were to get off the petrodollar, well, that would tank our dollar in really bad ways. Let's go to Reed in Greenville. Reed, welcome.
Hey, well,
Yes.
We need some light sweet crude refineries in this country.
Yes, I agree. Unfortunately, those take a long time to build. Yep, what's up?
Well, you got to start.
You got to start. You're right. That's right.
I was just thinking about what you said, Massey said, and I was just wondering if he thinks that what we need is a strong communist party, maybe a strong socialist party.
Yeah.
Because that's what a strong Democrat party is.
Exactly right. Listen to how glowingly he talked about the Democrats. Oh, we need a vibrant Democrat Party. He's never said anything about that. The only people that are keeping him honest in Columbia is the Freedom Caucus. He's never said a decent word about those folks.
Yes, I mean, he may as well have said we need a vibrant communist party.
Yeah.
He may as well have said that.
Yeah. Well, that is exactly what he said. You're exactly right, Reed. So I know I'm frustrated about it like you, but there are some avenues, and I appreciate your call. There are some avenues that maybe we can take, but again, do not give up on Henry McMaster. And I said that a little tongue-in-cheek because Henry's going to have to be pushed into this. He's not going to go and do this on his own accord. If he was going to do that, he would have already done it. So, again, Adam Morgan points out that 29 senators voted for redistricting. 29, 17 voted against. So how did it fail? How did it fail? Because McMaster refused to call a special session. Now, here's the thing. Pamela Evett, she made some statements not long ago where she was actually talking about, getting the redistricting done. She's actually out there. She's been asked this question several times on the campaign trail. Should we do redistricting? And she says, yes, let's get it done. So here's what, if I were Pamela Evett, here's what I would do. I'd be talking with Henry McMaster. That's what I'd do. I say, Henry, I got a campaign I'm running here. People of South Carolina want this. Have you seen how the phones, have you seen how the switchboard was lighting up? This is not long ago, Pamela Evett evoked Trump in calling lawmakers to take up redistricting, saying there is no time for hesitation. Those were her words. Those are her words. So maybe we can get things done. I don't know. 5 Republicans joined the Democrats to kill this bill. You want to know who they are? Of course you do. Sean Bennett, the guy that called you a sheep. Chip Campson. I think he's got a 20. Yeah, no, I got it written down here. Chip Campson. 32 Freedom Index. Tom Davis. Greg Hembry of Old County. And Shane Massey of Edgefield. 5 of them voted against it. 5 Republican senators voted against this. We need to make sure that they don't get reelected. That's what I would do. There was a press conference today. Drew McKissick was announced that the South Carolina GOP is suing in federal court our South Carolina legislature because they did not pass legislation closing our primaries. Okay. And I said this before earlier in the show. I'm going to say it again. There's an easier way to take care of this problem because if you everybody that's out there, all right, listen to this. Everybody that's on the campaign trail today, everybody that's running for governor, Josh Kimbrell, Rob Reddy, Pamela Evett, Alan Wilson, Nancy Mace, Ralph Norman, every single one of those people are campaigning on the problems that we have in South Carolina. So then you got to ask yourself a question. Who is responsible for those problems? Well, the people responsible for those problems are Sean Bennett, Chip Campson, Tom Davis, Greg Hembry, Shane Massey, among many others. So when they talk about we need to do this, think about this for a second. When these candidates are talking about the problems that South Carolina has, all of these problems can be directly tied into these people and the groups that they represent. Those are the problem. The problem isn't our roads. It's Shane Massey. The problem isn't our infrastructure. It's Shane Massey. The problem isn't taxes. It's Shane Massey. You see how that works? And when I say Shane Massey, I mean everybody else that I mentioned before as well. That's the problem. You remove those people, you remove the problem. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When he's not mowing his yard, he's mowing down liberal nonsense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Clear skies tonight.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
This is where you start to wonder. When things like what happened today in our state Senate, you start to wonder, who exactly are these people that claim to be Republicans? Where did they come from? How did they get elected? Well, getting elected is easy. Getting reelected, how does that happen when you obviously are not working in the best interest of the people of South Carolina, and you're obviously working in your own interest, and you're obviously, flipping over to the Democrats. That's the only way you can put it. They are flipping over. They're rolling over backwards to the Democrats. They put Democrats in positions of responsibility, positions of authority. They put them in subcommittee chairmanships in a state where we've got a supermajority in the House and the Senate, and they want to give the Democrats, equal opportunity, I guess. I want to go back to 2022. 2022. There was a prison phone call between South Carolina Democrat State Representative Crystal Matthews and an inmate in South Carolina. I want you to listen to what she said. Listen to what she says here. Are you ready? Here we go.
Like, we literally, this is how this is the only way you're going to change the dynamics in South Carolina. You got to find some folks that are a little bit polished, maybe are not, nobody really knows them that well. Maybe they haven't really been politically active. But we need some secret sleepers. Like, we need them to run as the other side, even though they for our side. And we need them to win. Right. Because that's how, we can battle them in public all day. As long as we know we working for the same goal. I tell my colleagues up here all the time, I'm going to be that bitch every day of the week. Got too many people that ain't us, ain't out for us, and look like us.
Okay. So that was Crystal Matthews, 2022. That's the playbook. You fight in public. You snuggle in private. Good gracious. Does it make you wonder? Makes me wonder how many sleepers we have in this House and the Senate in South Carolina. Now we're going to argue about this on the floor, but I got your back on it, right? We're going to argue, and I might even call you a name or two, something like that. I'll say you're being ridiculous, or you're being childish, or churlish, or something like that. But when it's all said and done, I'm on your side, right? Yeah, I am. Makes you wonder how many sleepers are in our state legislature, especially when things like this happen. Especially when we cannot get good conservative legislation passed here in South Carolina. It does make you wonder who the sleepers are. So, we know who the problem is. And we know who the problem isn't. But apparently Ron Reddy has got those two sides confused. Listen to what he said.
I am opposed to separation. I am opposed to division. I was this close, literally 1 inch from bringing all these groups together as a citizen. I sat them down in my office and I said, this is what's going to happen if you guys keep separating like this. The Freedom Caucus will not talk to the main caucus. The main caucus, therefore, is going to now lean towards the Democrats to pass bills. and we're slowly going to become a blue state.
Okay. So what Ron Reddy was doing there was putting the blame on the Freedom Caucus, because he said that the Freedom Caucus would not talk to the Republican caucus. And since the Freedom Caucus is not talking to the Republican caucus, that makes the Republican caucus have to lean further over to the Democrats. Well, let me ask you something, Ron Reddy. Why? Why does that make them lean towards the Democrats? Why does it? But I think you've got your timeline wrong. You see, the Freedom Caucus went in and they wanted to make changes. They wanted to be good conservative Republicans. And how were they treated when they got to Columbia? You remember how they got treated. They were asked to sign a loyalty pledge. And when they refused to sign that loyalty pledge and they went to show up at the caucus meeting, they were turned away. It wasn't the other way around, Ron Reddy. It wasn't the Freedom Caucus kicking the GOP, the Republican caucus to the curb. It was the Republican caucus kicking the Freedom Caucus to the curb. That's how it went. So don't be putting the blame on the Freedom. And you got to go back. Ron Reddy, let me tell you something. Hey, got a little advice for you here. Everything, all of the problems, I just said this a minute ago, but I feel the need to reiterate it. All of the problems that you are using in your campaign ads about how things are run in South Carolina, those are caused by the establishment. You can directly tie those back to the establishment. It's not the road's fault. It's not the bridge's fault. It's their fault. The fact that we had, for the longest time, the highest taxes in the Southeast, that was their fault. The fact that it took us forever to get constitutional carry here in South Carolina, that was their fault. The fact that it took forever that, to just protect women and men and protect women in women's sports and not allow men, that was their fault. That was theirs. They're the reason we can't have nice things. This is one of the few states in the union where we can't blame our problems on the Democrats. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD,
the voice of the Carolinas. happen, type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, we are back. Thank you so much. Let me ask you something. All right, JJ, let me ask you something. What percentage increase of autism claims would kind of raise your attention to think that there might be some fraud going on? 10%, you said a 10% increase, you would kind of be alerted to say, hey, wait a minute, something's going on here? Yeah. So what if it were 20%? Definitely. All right. Send in the feds. You just said send in the feds. What about 100% increase? You basically like send them to jail. Yeah, you're right. What if I told you that in North Carolina, they did not have a 10% increase in autism claims, billings, autism billings. They didn't have a 20%. They didn't have a 100%. What if I told you that their autism billings in North Carolina have increased 47,000%? 47,000%. Good gracious. Listen, this is David Hoke over on Fox News. Unbelievable.
Well, when there's that much smoke, there's fire somewhere. So what is the problem with turning over the documents?
Yeah, it seems like a very simple solution. I want to get your reaction to a story I mentioned that I'm not going to let go. It's this Minnesota fraudster who cuts no jail plea deal with a key condition tied to alleged mastermind. These were the texts I put up. This guy is a co-defendant in fraud, fled the country, and they just don't give him jail time. I mean, your hard work really led to moments like this. What's your reaction to this?
Well, I'm always on the edge of sanity and insanity here when I see this. We had that other gentleman who was convicted of $7.2 million of fraud. A unanimous conviction by the jury, and Judge Sarah West overturned the guilty verdict. That was just recently. And then we had this woman who owned the Future Leaders Early Learning Center, which Nick and I featured in our video. And she, over the last 5 years, has gotten almost $12 million.
$12 million. North Carolina, they've had a 47,000% increase in autism billings in 4 years. In the past 4 years, their autism billing has increased 47,000%. Yeah, I would love to know how. Do you think autism rates have gone up 47,000% in North Carolina? I just said, that's like it's in the air. You're right. It's communicable. No, hasn't gone up 47,000%. Obvious fraud going. Listen, they need Nick Shirley in North Carolina. That is, the fraud. But like I said, the bigger the organization, the easier it is to defraud. And there are very few organizations out there bigger than the United States government. I will bet you there are people making claims on I will bet you there's somebody out there, and you just name it. You just spin the old game wheel. Tires, car tires. I will guarantee you there's somebody out there that is billing the United States government for providing automobile tires for government vehicles that have never even seen a government vehicle. I'll promise you that's happening. You name it. Somebody is defrauding the government on it. I'll give you a perfect example. ICE has just announced a fraud bust. 10,000 foreign students are involved in something that is called the federal government's optional practical training. All right? But when you go to these optional practical training facilities, guess what? There's nobody there. Empty buildings where hundreds of students should be working as part of their ability to be in America, nobody's there. And these organizations are run by foreign-linked groups that actually just send the money out of the country. Locked doors, hundreds of students sharing the same address, employers sharing the same addresses. This is called the phantom employee, and it is rampant. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on The Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WORD talk line. We'll talk to Richard in Dallas. How you doing, Richard?
Charlie, I'm good, man. Tell me what you know about this meteor that's supposed to be hauling tail toward the earth.
I haven't heard about this. I mean, you tell me about it.
It's supposed to be here today.
Oh no,
Charlie, you don't know about it? You ain't heard about it?
I haven't. Not a peep. Not a peep. When's it going to be here?
I'm not making it up. Just you check it out real quick with them fingers of yours and look it up.
I just did. Still don't see anything.
Really?
I got nothing. Nothing.
I guess I was lied to. Somebody jerking my chain.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. There are a lot of chain jerkers out there. I appreciate it, Richard. Thank you very much. I know. I mean, and I keep up with that. I keep up with my UFOs. I keep up with my meteors. I keep up with my my extraterrestrials. When you get you can have your terrestrial, and then every now and then they'll throw an extra one in there, so you get your extraterrestrials. Let's go to Chuck in Mills River. What's going on, my man?
Oh, man, we're just looking for a car, a reasonable used car for Julian. Say, hey, Julian. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Julian, what's up, buddy? So what'd you find, or did you find anything, quote-unquote, reasonable?
No, well, here's the funny thing, man, is, we're trucks always bring a high dollar.
Yeah.
Real, full-size trucks. And little bitty gas guzzling cars almost never bring anything. But right now is not a good time for that because, well, gas is expensive. But I'll tell you what, if you're looking to buy a truck, y'all fellas out there looking to buy a truck, now's the time to look for your used truck because the prices are a little bit low.
Yeah.
Trucks always bring high dollar. They always do.
Yep.
But anyway, it's not an easy task.
So I tell you what, I bet those used Camrys are going off the lot.
Dude, the used Camrys are like $6,000-$7,000 for a 12-year-old Camry.
Yeah.
I mean, what I wouldn't give for a good old Geo Metro got 52 miles to the gallon back in the 80s. Man.
I know, right?
Before battery-powered crap. It can be done without a battery. But I got to ask your permission, I guess, because I was listening earlier, and you coined a phrase. I believe it was foghorn leghorn ass. That was you were so mad. I missed who you were mad at, but
Henry McMaster.
If I have your
Henry McMaster.
Okay, that's who I figured it was, but I didn't want to misquote you. I've had enough of that today, and it was Mark Warner yesterday. Was
that's right.
Governor of Virginia. Sorry about all that, y'all that are listening. But yeah, I just want to make sure I can use that because that was awesome.
Feel free.
I really
feel free. It's all good. It's all good.
Since Richard and his awesome self called in and started the topic off, you threw me a curveball last week about the UFO stuff that had been released. And I told you I had been in the Shenandoah Valley. I've been here for 22 years.
Right.
It's just in the last 4 years I said, no, I'm not a Virginian anymore, from South Carolina originally. Loved Virginia until it went to hell. But I can tell you this, and I had a witness there with me, and I'm not a conspiracy theory. I'm not the X-Files guy. I admit there's some weird stuff, but now I've seen the Shenandoah Valley. We were coming back from Winchester to Harrisonburg, Virginia, did some work, did some sound equipment, put that up, ran that stuff up. Coming back, it was dark, and the guy who was driving the van was a conspiracy UFO nut. So I'm, two polar opposites, and he was like, "Did you see that?" I was like, "Yes, I did." The Shenandoah Valley, where we were, is 142 miles across from peak to peak. We were coming down 81 or whatever the highway was there. It's been a long time. And we saw this thing, and it looked like a star twinkling, but it was like the color of a manila envelope. And it went in 1.5 minutes from far from the left or the west to the east in less than 2 minutes, way past. And then it stopped. And Charlie, God is my witness, and I have a witness that was there. I saw this thing take off, and it was like way up there, above SR-71 territory. It was way up there. It took off halfway across, did a 90-degree, not a curved 90-degree, just a square 90-degree angle turn. Did that 3 times, vanished, came back. We had to pull over to watch it. We watched it for like 10 minutes, and
Wow.
there is nothing. Call me crazy if you want to, but it was. I saw it, and nobody can tell me I didn't.
Unexplained things out there, Chuck. Unexplained
Thanks
things.
for taking my call, bud.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Now let's go to Robert in Mills River. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing good. My brother Chuck and me share the same. I mean, I told you about mine the other day. So,
Yeah.
I mean, about me and my buddy down on the river. But I'm telling you, there is, I mean, my daddy always said, and he took biblical courses in prison because he hauled moonshine back in the day. And
Okay.
he got put in prison for a few years for hauling shine. But he always said he don't think we're the only beings. He said, when God created the universe, it wasn't just for us. I mean, he made us all different colors. He said, I guarantee you there's other people he put here, probably smarter than we are. So
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if they're
saying
getting here,
anything.
Robert, they're definitely smarter than we are. Let's go to Donald in Lake Hartwell. How you doing, Donald?
Well, Charlie, like I was telling you before, if you watch Bob Lazar, that the craft that they find was an archaeological dig.
Yeah.
And that thing wasn't just old; it was ancient, and they found 9 of them. The
9?
The technology,
Yeah.
yes, the technology they have is ancient. And that guy earlier was talking about how this craft moved from a 90-degree angle. When you have a gravity wave around you, gravity comes in waves. Bob Lazar tell you the same thing. I watched this. You can watch S4, Bob Lazar.
Yeah.
Gravity comes in waves, and when you're inside a gravity wave, there is no inertia. The inertia does not have anything to do with your craft. I mean, you can move from 0 to 25,000 miles an hour in another direction. It will not affect you because you're riding a gravity wave. You're bending light. This device bends light. You think of the immense power that it takes to bend light. And it's inside a device no bigger than a half of a basketball. And this technology is millions of years old.
Huh. That is
Yeah.
interesting. Donald, I appreciate it, buddy. Now, all of this started off with Richard in Dallas asking about the meteor or an asteroid. Well, a texter says NASA is tracking a house-size asteroid named 2026 JG2 flying past Earth today. How about that? Now, when they say flying past, I would like to know what they're talking about. Oh, okay. Well, here we are. Neo asteroid 2026 JG2 is in the constellation of Boots at a distance of 1,289,983 kilometers from Earth. That's, I don't know. Is that astrologically, is that a near miss? I don't know. But that's how we got on that discussion. When we get back, we'll talk about President Trump and the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool and why the Democrats are upset. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is Mark Levin. Join me tonight at 7 following Charlie James for the Mark Levin Show, a News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I got a friend up in Mooresville that works in the water industry. When I'm not talking about drinking water, I'm talking about the use of water. Like he works with some of the bigger aquariums around the country. Does things like that. He does. Greg is a water expert. I can honestly say that he is an expert when it comes to water. And we were up there visiting him. Gosh, I guess it's been a year now. And he said, we noticed they had some of these, we had several bird baths in their yard. He said, Charlie, I want to tell you something. It's the weirdest thing. He said, I got these bird baths here, and we noticed that algae was growing on those bird baths. You know, the regular cement type bird bath, just a regular. But he said, but look over here at this bird bath. And it was blue. It was like a blue tile at the bottom of this bird bath. He said, these bird baths get algae really bad. You can just, it just grows in these bird baths. You know, birds, they bathe in it, they poop in it and all that stuff. Algae grows really bad. He said, but this bird bath, the blue one, has a lot less algae than the other ones. He said, so then I did some research, and he said, certain enough, I mean, some research shows that the color blue can prevent the growth of algae. He said it was amazing. So I said, that's fascinating. So then I heard about this reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial that Donald Trump is, you can't put it any other way. He's fixing it. Because under Joe Biden, this thing is supposed to be a reflecting pool. Now, what do reflecting pools do? They're supposed to reflect, right? Some sort of reflective properties about them? Yes, you can stand and stare in it and inwardly reflect, but it's also designed to outwardly reflect. So, the Lincoln Memorial, that's what it's supposed to do. So President Trump says, look, we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. So he's gone in, and the Democrats are losing their bloody minds over it. They are literally pitching a hissy fit. Because he saved us millions and millions of dollars on this reflecting pool. And yes, he offered a no-bid contract, but, you know, if the job gets done, it gets done right. I don't care. Save us some money. But their outrage, they don't have a very good memory over on the left. I want to take you to 2012. Let's go back to 2012 when Obama, there was a 2-year, $34 million reflecting pool renovation. 2 years, $34 million. Listen to this report.
There's plenty to take pictures of in downtown Washington, D.C. The Lincoln Memorial, the World War II Memorial, and then there's this. Folks snapping photos of the reflecting pool.
It's really sludgy up this end.
And what's in it?
It's disgusting. It's not right.
Algae.
It's like, smells like wet dog down here, you know. When my dog came home from a stream, he always smelled like this, so it's gross.
The Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool reopened at the end of August to great fanfare after a $34 million renovation that lasted nearly 2 years. But less than a month later, the famous pool of water is full of algae. Algae are simple organisms that thrive in areas where there is heat and sunlight. You have plenty of that here.
The water may not look great, but it doesn't pose a health or safety hazard. It's really just the yuck factor.
If it's sunny, if it's really warm, it will rise to the top. So on some days, depending on the weather, you will see algae at the top. And
yeah, depending on the weather. You've been to Washington, D.C. in the summer? It's hot. It's hot. But the big thing is $34 million, 2 years of construction, and the Democrats did not open their mouths about it. They did not care. So Donald Trump says, we're going to do something about this. This is horrible. It's an embarrassment to Washington, D.C., to our nation's capital. Let's do something about it. So then they said, all right, let's go do it. And what the Democrats always think that something is easy. Okay? They always think something's easy. But when they go in and they started clearing out all of the crud that was in the reflecting pool, they started thinking, holy cow, this problem is a lot worse than we thought. We're talking about basically neglect from 2012 until now. Nobody has done anything to improve the condition of the reflecting pool in Washington, D.C. Well, now Donald Trump's doing something about it. And they're losing their... And listen, it's not really about the reflecting pool. It's about the fact that Donald Trump is doing it. Yes, is it over budget? Absolutely it is. Why? Because of all that neglect. That, again, it doesn't matter what it is. Donald Trump wants to build a ballroom. Oh, we can't have that. Well, it doesn't matter that every other president has made certain improvements to the White House or additions. Nobody criticized Obama for the basketball court. Nobody criticized, the theater or the or the bowling alley or anything like that. It's just because Donald Trump's doing it. That's the only. Donald Trump could do anything, and the Democrats are going to hate it. Anything. He's trying to, but that's just the way they are. They are not. Let's just put it this way. On issues like this, on making things better, the Democrats aren't doers. They're complainers. Now, when they want to make things worse, they are good doers. They're really good at making things worse. The Republicans, when the Democrats are making things worse, the Democrats don't go in, or the Republicans don't go in and try to make it better. They just sit back and complain. And that's all we've seen. So, again, I don't know what the next project is in Washington, D.C., but I guess you can guarantee one thing. The Democrats are going to hate it. And I love the fact that the Democrats hate it. I really do. When we get back, coming up in just a second, hantavirus started on this Disney cruise. A couple of people died from it. And now they're trying to make it into another global pandemic. But why? What are they trying to do? It has to do with the World Health Organization and, again, what Donald Trump did. We'll have that coming up for you in just a second. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When the left spins, Charlie sets it straight. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, we are hearing a lot about it these days. Hantavirus, that's what everybody's talking about. Mainstream media been playing this up. How much have they been playing this up? Oh, they've been playing this up big time. I want you to listen to this. This is going to blow your mind. Are you ready?
I'll tell you about what you said is a colleague told me that there was like 100,000 articles written around the world on hantavirus in the last couple of days. And that's not typical for a hantavirus outbreak. Certainly there's always attention and people get scared, but like, that's the other thing with COVID. It was COVID 24/7. And then when you said in your intro about how it seems to be driven by influencers, I'm sorry if I'm getting too like, I don't know. I actually never want to use the word tin hat because I'm not a tin hat, but these patterns are anomalous. Why, with just this little outbreak of a few cases, suddenly like it's consuming the world's media cycle? Like, for instance, I'm on talking about it today. It's because it's being driven by something.
It's been driven by the media. The media. And why would that be? Why would the media be so interested in, like that doctor said, so few cases of hantavirus? Oh, I got the answer here. I got the answer. It's because Donald Trump pulled out of the World Health Organization. That's it. They've got to have some reason, some justification for the World Health Organization. Now, this is from the Liberty Daily. For decades, the WHO constructed its image as a global angel of benevolence, the primary line of defense against what they said was the inevitable invasion of a population-rending plague. However, when the time finally came in the form of a mutated coronavirus, they dropped the ball, and evidence suggests they may have done it deliberately. During the initial outbreak in China, the WHO echoed CCP propaganda suggesting that human-to-human contact was unlikely and knowingly or unknowingly aided China in hiding the details behind the outbreak. Oh, yes. Yes, they did that. In fact, the Democrats, they were in on it too.
The risk to New Yorkers for coronavirus is low, and our city preparedness is high.
This should not stop you from going about your life, should not stop you from going to Chinatown and going out to eat. I'm going to do that today myself.
Come to Chinatown. Here we are. We're, again, careful, safe, and come join us.
There is no concern at this time for coronavirus in our region.
The Department of Sanitation is ready for Mardi Gras 2020.
The facts are reassuring.
We want New Yorkers to go about their daily lives.
Just go about your daily lives. That's what China was saying. Yeah. That's what you guys need to do. You need to tell everybody everything's okay. Details surrounding the involvement of the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the largest dangerous disease lab in Asia, were actively dismissed or suppressed. Director General Tedros Adhanom even praised China's transparency. Remember that? Even Dr. Fauci talked about it. China's being very helpful. China's very helpful. The WHO then set up a joint task force to determine the origins of COVID, only to let the Chinese dominate the investigation. And they led it away from COVID, from the lab in Wuhan. The Chinese wanted to push the theory of an animal-to-animal mutation instead of a gain-of-function research, which is now what we found out was going on. Today, evidence overwhelmingly suggests that COVID originated in the Wuhan lab. In January of 2025, the CIA assessed the lab-related origin is more likely than a natural spillover. 2025, German intelligence also reported their findings indicated a 90% likelihood that COVID was engineered and originated at the Wuhan lab in China. WHO exaggerated the death rate. They claimed the initial case fatality of 3.4%. That was based on study that ignored mild cases or whether it's asymptomatic cases. We know. We went through all of that. So now, when the World Health Organization has come along and they have proven that they are absolutely worthless and useful, and Donald Trump says we got to get out of the WHO, what did the Democrats do? Oh no. Now we've got the hantavirus. Listen to Chuck Schumer today.
On the hantavirus, we continue to pray for all American cruise ship passengers exposed to hantavirus and those who remain in quarantine. I can only imagine how distressing this experience has been. The Trump administration's gutting of America's public health preparedness has made the recent hantavirus outbreak even more alarming.
It's all Trump's fault. Now, you might think, Charlie, you're talking crazy. No, I'm not. I want you to listen to this guy in the statement. He was on one of the cruise ships, on the cruise ship that had the hantavirus. Listen to what he said.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this.
Wait a minute, hold on. Let's go back. What did you just say?
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people. People with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
He would never normally make a video like that. Never normally make a video like that. He would never do that. Wait a minute, hold on. You hush.
And that's the
hush now.
I normally wouldn't. Hardest part.
But he did make a video not long ago. Want to hear it?
Get vaccinated. Gorgeous vaccinated girls get boosted. And gorgeous boosted girls.
Yeah. That guy's name was, what was his name? What is it? It is, he's Jake Rosemarin. Jake Rosemarin is that guy's name. That person that spoke on that cruise ship where the alleged hantavirus broke out. Jake Rosemarin was a crisis actor and worked for the pharmaceutical companies during COVID. I would never normally do a video like this. That's about all you do is videos. That's it. So, not really buying all of this hantavirus pearl clutching going on right now. Let's go to Larry in Cleveland County. Larry, welcome.
Hey, well, thank you, sir. I got to chime in on this thing because what you just said is absolutely right. You can tell as soon as he opened his mouth, he was lying. Anytime somebody says, I don't normally do this, they're setting themselves up. They're lying. They're full of crap.
Yeah.
And Charlie, what's the symptoms of this? Have they created one of them yet, or they haven't developed it yet? What's the symptoms?
Oh, you mean for a vaccine?
The symptoms of what they're trying to start up.
I have no idea.
Something like that?
I have no idea.
I can tell you one thing. Nobody in my house is going to take no shot, not wearing no mask. We're not doing that crap again. I promise you that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So apparently, listen to this. Listen, I appreciate it, Larry. Thank you. So they've got a hantavirus. They've got a hantavirus vaccine. They've got a hantavirus vaccine. Listen to this, because they always got to list the side effects. In the hantavirus vaccine, it's got 1,233 listed side effects. 1,233. Hoo-wee. So, there you go. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, this is Tara. Start your day with common sense information and opinion with me on The Tara Show tomorrow morning, starting at 6. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WORD talk line. We'll talk to Gene in Greenville. How you doing, Gene?
I'm fascinated by the hantavirus business.
Yeah.
You know, I worked for the Army for about 3.5 years at a place called USAMRIC. You might have heard of Fort Detrick. That's where it's located.
Right.
And, well, at the time the hantaviruses were explored, and there was a deep interest in it. And it was determined, or one of the studies showed that hantavirus exists in basically every rat population. It's prevalent in every rat population throughout the world, particularly in our port cities.
Yeah.
New York, Atlanta, Houston, every place that has a port city where rats exist.
Charleston.
You're going to find seroprevalence of the hantavirus in rats. You know, and plus, this virus is not highly contagious human to human.
Right.
I don't know what the big deal is. What happened on that ship? That ship must have been infested with rats.
No. Let me tell you what happened. They made a stop, and there was this couple that went to a landfill. I'm not making this up. They went to a landfill to photograph birds.
Okay.
And they came back with the hantavirus.
Well, so the suggestion might be, was it the landfill, and were they inhaling some of the dust and debris that was contaminated? We call that fomites by rats that live there. That's possible.
Yeah.
Or they might have even contracted it beforehand.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, Gene, just to let everybody know, I mean, you've got some experience in this, right?
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I have a PhD in medical microbiology, and my field was experimental viral pathogenesis. This is my background.
So how long does it take for this for you to become symptomatic with hantavirus, if you do?
You know, that's hard to say. It would have to be within a week at most.
Yeah.
Beyond a week, there's not a problem. Now, when I worked in the Army, if you had a complaint of vomiting, any anomalous complaint of ill health, they immediately put you in a Vickers unit for observation for 2 weeks, and the Army internists and residents from Walter Reed would come over and monitor you. That was it. That was their exercise.
Yeah, right. Now let me ask you a question. If this couple did contract hantavirus at that landfill where they were photographing birds, don't you think we would have some sort of a spike in the people that worked at the landfill?
I would think so. That there would be more people there. Yeah, but how many people work around the landfill?
Right.
And where do these people walk? I mean, do they walk right? We just don't know.
Yeah, interesting. But I do know this. I mean, they're trying to make a big deal out of it right now.
Sure they are. Because they want to infuse panic, and there's no reason to panic.
Yeah.
I worked with a virus called the LCM virus, lymphocytic choriomeningitis virus. The same, it's a different virus genus or different virus family, but it's essentially the same ecosystem, virologic ecosystems carried by rodents. And every year you have at least 1 or 2 cases in America. Why? Well, somebody walked into a dusty basement full of rodents, full of mice.
Yeah.
And the mice were carriers, and this is what happened. They inhaled some of the fomites, or they had a cut or an abrasion that was touched the contaminated material, and it came down with infection. But they're not going to contaminate or infect other people.
There you go. All right, Gene, we appreciate it, buddy.
They go into a hemorrhagic shock immunologic response syndrome.
There you go. I appreciate it, buddy. I want to wrap up here. We have got 4 weeks from today is the primary, June 9th. 4 weeks from today, early voting starts in a couple of weeks. We have got a chance to make real substantive change here in South Carolina. We just saw what happened today in the Senate, where they voted not to take up. Now, this wasn't a vote on redistricting. This was a vote on whether or not to take up redistricting. Our governor has let us down. Our Senate has let us down. Shane Massey, I want to remind you, said that South Carolina is stronger when we have a vibrant Democrat Party. They let us down. But yet, in 4 weeks from today, a lot of these people, not the Senate, but a lot of these people in the House, these people are going to be asking for you to go to the polls and vote for them. They've got 28 days. Make them earn it. And if they haven't earned it, vote for somebody else. You can make a difference. Last non-presidential primary, we had a 13.5% voter turnout. That is not going to make anything change. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. We'll talk more about redistricting and everything else that is going on. Want y'all to have a lovely evening. We'll see you then. As always, God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.